Charles. Hi everyone, good evening.
Good evening.
This is yours? So I have this problem where I tell people that when they ask me if I'm a writer or a poet, I say, oh no, I like to write for myself. It's just for me. But that can't be, that's impossible. Because writing in itself is a means to convey something to someone else. So you can't just write for yourself. That's silly. My pieces are more like when you go to a modern art exhibit and you're staring at this amazing work by this modern artist, and it's a red canvas with a 2-centimeter black dot in the middle, and you're looking at it and going, what the heck is that? I have no idea. So in order to avoid that, I like to preface my poems with a bit of a story, with the backstory to give you some context of where I was when I was writing it, where I was in my head, so you're not doing nothing. So my first red canvas piece takes place in Staten Island, New York, my hometown, which is a ferry boat ride away from Manhattan. And in the summers, in high school, my friends and I would hang out at night, in the middle of the night. We had nowhere else to go. There's really not much to do in Staten Island. So we would hang out on the boardwalk, on the beach, right under the bridge that connects Staten Island to Brooklyn. And so this is that time. And, before saying that. So my friends and I also, we are dorks. We don't really do drugs or anything cool. We just kind of sit around and we just tell stories. We make fun of each other and we play camp games, role-playing games, very dorky stuff. So just like that. I have made this place around you. Our toes touched the corner of the musky orange blanket. The sand felt warm from the day's heat. We leaned on each other and shared shoulders, secrets. But the time was approaching witching hour, and all the naked babies were already long cleared from the boardwalk. Empty Gatorade bottles, Dorito bags, and a pink flip-flop with the plastic V sticking out littered the benches and the creaky wooden planks. Tide was low, as though the waves itself were in awe of the shores they were lapping. Paper coffee cups, sleepless heaps of trash, the occasional needle. Welcome to Staten Island. Yet somehow, under the pale light that shone on us, time seized. We're too old now, or rather too loud now, for people's basements, so we congregate on the Midland Beach boardwalk overlooking the Verrazano. Most of us work, full-time, 9 to 5 during the day, commuting at dawn, drinking at dusk. Not really like the high school summers before. We'd eat Ralph's Italian ices, have scab knees, torn volleyball nets, bets on handball games, and those cream cheese bagels from Plaza Deli. Yeah. Now it's more about climbing up invisible ladders and moving away, moving on, moving forward. We thought nothing could take this away from us. But that 5-letter word comes a-knockin', career. But let me tell you, you will never meet a group of friends like us. Because we like to laugh with our bodies. And so we gather, any of us, all of us, on the boardwalk before the witching hour to taste the sea breeze in our youth. We befriend strangers and clap for their exits. We spill secrets and scrub it all over each other the next day, accuse townfolks of espionage and put murderers on trial. We chop down falling trees and pass around balls of energy at the top of our lungs. We yearn for greasy, oily crap that makes us feel even younger than we are, and fuck it, who cares about anything else but this? So I went to college in this very small liberal arts school in Maine, in the middle of nowhere, where you had plenty of time to learn about how shitty society was, without actually having to meaningfully participate in society. So everybody had their cause that they really wanted to fight for. Lots of causes, lots of shitty stuff in the world to pick from. And at this time, It was right before Obama's first election, and so there was a lot of talk about racism and how America was in a post-racial society, and there's no such thing as racism anymore. We had overcome it. And so I was talking with one of my friends, and she was saying how, it's really racism shouldn't really be an issue right now that we talk about because they're starving children in Africa. What racism? Who cares if someone calls you a name? It's a first world problem. Get over it. So this slam was a response to that. So, sorry for the vulgarity, my guys. Okay. We're growing up in a world of apathy and not quite having the capacity to endure your ignorance. This is a signal to liberate your mind from the bonds of your own kind. Don't you understand? All you spout is suppression, oppression, preventing depression. But it's hard asses like you that create the masses of tension, full of intention to harm each other, with no care about our mothers, fathers, lovers, or others. After all, you are my other. Brother, my mother is one, the earth. From birth, we were created equally, not biologically, not physically, but emotionally. I cry for the demise of tolerant eyes, the simplification of human nature to be barbaric, generically governed by nature of laws, all flaws, only mildly controlled by the stick of the powerful. Yet it's years of hatred and violence, with all this silence, growing numbers of power-hungry fools like you that think companies should rule, that kindness is impractical, not tactical, useless for warfare and more years of agony under the blindness of misogyny. Honestly, do you think that what we need is more restriction? Conditions of unexplained submission to above? What about love, my friend, to prevent the end? Don't mistake me for some crack-smoking hippie. Your judgment makes no difference to me, but your indifference to others, the numbing calculation of others, to be killed for the sake of humanity? Is this humanity, this insanity? The compromise of lies to create a harmonized environment, induced of the roots of racism, the power of letters combined, to find the division, to create a fission between cracker, nigger, chink, spick, mick, you pathetic dick. Do not trivialize my shit, just because your sheltered-ass self has never been subjected to the humiliation of the degradation of self. Myself, I've never had the right to say, hey, fuck Iraq. But other brothers have died from racism, from hatred, from cold, hollow idiots who see to it that issues like this get pushed in a pit. Shit. I don't have any answers to your logical puzzles. I'm not as well versed or immersed in this global puzzle. African problems of poverty, the sovereignty of Tibet. Forget not the plague of disasters sweep Asia, euthanasia to be problems of the globe. But where can we start to crack the lack of empathy? Your orders to keep my head logical has me asking, are you that fucking methodical? To decide not to empathize, synthesize situations in your mind and solve them like some linguistic find. Call me weak, unreasonable to advocate no hate, no wars, no violence, but I find it unfeasible to continue to syndicate this vindication against one another. Rise above, my brothers, rise above and love one another. This is my last piece. I wrote this somewhere 50,000 miles above the Pacific Ocean, in between Vancouver and Japan. So, it's called The Cave. We are anxious, terrified, teetering on moments that swing us from delirium to boredom. Decisions have no history, nor do we care for its future. We sigh in front of banquets 3 times a day and curse the travel that brings us home. For through fear, we desire a monotonous model that sinks doubts, at least psychologically, temporarily, but breeds dullness. Clinging to our security, we cease to find the diversity of life and find scapegoats to curse instead, shattering mirrors. Time. Our imagination drives the engine, self-perpetuating spaces between now and waiting for now, failing to realize that it is always now. And so we slice away our body as we do our mind and starve it from contemplation, creating infinite puzzles that we task ourselves to solve so we may pass an exhaustion, emptily fulfilled. But as we embrace uncertainty, the shaking hand holding the candle loosens until it drops, and the flame lights the paper cave ablaze, and we become the fire, unable to distinguish holder and held. And so it is in this light we actually live. Mystery and beauty inseparable, no longer dancing with shadows, but with flames, and we are free.